Hey guys, Pieguyrulz here. So Nickmas is over, as well as actual Christmas, and I wanted to do this little video to talk about talk about it because the reviews I kept very self-contained. I didn't really reference like the order or anything. I tried not to mention other specials in the specials or compare them or whatever, except for ones that were in the same show, like Rugrats or Ren and Stimpy. So I want to give kind of a final say. I've got some lists of like my favorites, the ones I think that were bad, and ones that I think that were average. So yeah, so this whole thing came about when I decided I wanted to talk about The Fright Before Christmas. You could blame Danny Phantom for this entire thing because I really just wanted to talk about the episode, and I was thinking like, oh, well, it'd be weird to just review that. So how about a top 10 list? But I was like, well, there's only like, 21 specials-ish. So like, is there even really a point in doing, like top 10? And then I'm just like, well, why don't I just review them all? And I'm like, it sounds pretty reasonable myself. And then I look at the calendar and it's like 7 days till Christmas. So instead of having the entire month of December to space these out one a day or something like that, had I had any foresight or preparation, I had to jam in 21 reviews in these like 7 days, which, if you do the math, brings you to 3 videos a day, which is why there was 3 videos a day. Every day except for one day, and we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, so that's why it was also rushed, and I would not ever advise, nor recommend, nor want to do again the 3 video a day thing. Like, that's stupid because it's a lot of work. Even though these videos weren't the most long, they still took time to make, and I was stressing out. Like, I was working on these like on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, but not just for that, but because like the videos get buried in sub boxes. Some people miss some of them. There are 20 in total, and I'm putting them in the Christmas playlist, so make sure you see them all. But yeah, not a good strategy. But I wanted to get them all in there, and I figured as it's Christmas, so I might as well try it. Give it a treat, give it a try. Give you guys a little treat. Have a little fun with it. So I did it, and I managed to do it. I reviewed everything I wanted to. I always planned on ending with Danny Phantom because it was my favorite. And also, it's a nice cutoff point because it's like, I think it was like 2005, 2006. Like, there's a gap between that and like the next Christmas episode, which I think is like Merry Wishmas, actually, in 2008. Like, there wasn't many Christmas specials because Nick keeps canceling shows before they get a chance. And plus, that's kind of where my child, like, I consider like the last really good Nicktoon just in the row to be like Avatar. I think Avatar was kind of the last one, and then after that things got shaky. But so I felt like it was a good stopping point. So yeah, the reason, and that was a good motivator too, because it's like, well, I got to keep going because I can't just randomly do Danny Phantom. I gotta do them all. I gotta do the rest of them. So I worked my way up, and I even kicked around the idea of doing the Danny Phantom one in rhyme, but I can't rhyme, man. It's really hard. I can do it unintentionally. I think it happened in a video unintentionally. Yeah, I even comment on it. But yeah, like, just rhyming, man. It's hard work. It's hard work to not make it feel contrived. But yeah, so there was only, I only ended up reviewing 20 out of the 21 listed on the Christmas Special Wiki. That was my guide. I hope there wasn't, like, any more Christmas episodes I missed. The only shows that I didn't notice were Kablam and Ariel Monsters, but Ariel Monsters probably didn't have a Christmas special. And Kablam, even if it had one, I don't think I have any way of watching it. Like, Kablam is buried, man. But yeah, so Angry Beavers. Angry Beavers was the one that had a Christmas special on the list, and I didn't do because I watched it and it didn't really have too much to do with Christmas. Like, first of all, it's 11 minutes, and then it's technically Arbor Day, which is like, they joke that it's Beaver Christmas or whatever. But so like, it's not even Christmas, it's Arbor Day, and then on top of that, it just kicks off the plot. Like, the plot is about Daggett being jealous of Norbert's gift. really, and him trying to destroy his train or whatever, like, it really has nothing to do with the holiday at all. Even, even Arbor Day, like, it's just nothing. And I don't know, I didn't have too strong an opinion towards the episode. I thought it was alright, and I was on a tight schedule, so I'm like, I'll just skip it. So there's that. Yeah. So now, these Christmas episodes. I was really amazed that there was no Christmas Carol. Like, not once. Not once. Not one. You'd expect, like, Mr. Krabs is a a tightwad. Like, a tightwad boss. Like, come on. You couldn't have cast him as Scrooge? Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the SpongeBob Christmas special, but I don't know. That's where my mind went first. Like, could have done that, or with Ed Bighead. He's, curmudgeon that works for a big business. Or how about, like, Danny Phantom? There's ghosts. Like, wouldn't it make sense? Whatever. I mean, like, I'm happy to see that they didn't rely on the cliche, but, like, it would have been cool to see one, right? Like, anyway, so I'm gonna there's 3 categories I have for these episodes that I put them in. There's the bad, the average, and the good. The bad is bad. The average I consider to be episodes of the show that are indicative of the show and don't bring anything aside from just, an episode of the show set in Christmas time. They're not bad, but they're not, nothing elevates them, nothing makes them great. And then the good ones they're the ones that I just really love. They're my favorites, basically. So the bad ones, well, one, it's only Holly Jolly Jimmy. It's so stupid. Like, it doesn't make any sense. I could fix the plot, too, in like 2 seconds. Okay, so Jimmy is upset that Santa Claus didn't get him what he wanted, so Jimmy decides to go to the North Pole and do his job. Santa gets, indignant that he thinks a little kid could do his job, and Jimmy's like, if I can do it, then anyone can. You're not special, Santa. And he does it, but he doesn't do it. That fixes your plot. Like, I get Jimmy being a skeptic. I get it, how it makes sense in that, he's supposed to be a genius and Santa is illogical or whatever, but, like, I don't know. It's never even brought up the idea that, do you think Jimmy would think that, maybe Jimmy would want to prove that Santa is a scientist and accomplishing this all with science instead of magic. There you go. That really fixes your plot. Everyone thinks that Santa's magical, but Jimmy wants to believe that he's using science. Oh, I should be a writer. Just anyway, so the average episodes are Son of Stimpy, When Santas Collide, The Finster Who Stole Christmas, A Very Cat Dog Christmas, Babies in Toyland, Most Horrible Xmas Ever, Rocco's Modern Christmas, Doug's Christmas Story, A Scooter for Yaxmas, Let It Snow, Have Yourself a Thornberry Little Christmas, and an Even Steven Holiday Special. Yeah. They're all just, nothing raises them. I don't think any of these are bad. I quite enjoyed watching all of these except for Son of Stimpy. And Yaxmas, I guess, too. But nothing made them stand out. They're not my favorites. And I'll even give Son of Stimpy a pass because that's just not for me. And I think what gets me about it the most of all is the pacing. It's really slow because of, like, looped animation and stuff. And I get that it was animated in-house in America, so you have to cut corners and loop animation and stuff like that. But it just makes it really drag at times. And even as a Christmas parody, if they're trying to parody, like, your cheesy Christmas specials, they did not do a good job. Alright, so the good ones. I have these actually ranked. So, at number 7, there's 7 of them, is A Rocket Christmas. I thought it was very unique. Again, Rocket Power was never really my favorite show growing up, but this episode really surprised me. It brought more to the table than I expected it to. There's at number 6, we have A Robot for All Seasons. Just an awesome, kick-butt Christmas special. With a seriously cool plot. Like, it's just cool. The Santa Experience at number 5. This is like, it's like the special that you'd put on in the background while you're decorating your Christmas tree, right? Like, it's such a comfort food special. Like, you don't have to see all of it to understand what's going on. You can miss big chunks of this episode, but still get the feeling of Christmas and the overall themes and everything. It's more about themes than stories, really, and that's really cool. Arnold's Christmas is at number 4. If if the story wasn't, if the stakes weren't as high as they were, if the story wasn't as, intense as it was, not intense, but, up there, where, it dealt with, war, and it dealt with separation, like, serious themes here. If it didn't do that, then it would just be average. It would just be, Hey Arnold during Christmas time. That's really what it is. Arnold just helping people like he does in every episode, really. But because it felt more important than your average, like, schoolyard problems. This one felt like something serious that Arnold really wanted to do. Like it makes you feel more invested, and it makes the story more legitimate, I suppose. At number 3, we have Christmas Every Day. It's funny. It's that Fairly Odd Parents charm that the show used to have, and still occasionally shows. It's just I don't know. I can't see it as anything but a classic. And that song is awesome. But really, that could be said about pretty much all these specials. Almost every single one of them feature a music number. In fact, the one that doesn't, well, I'll talk about it in a second. First, Christmas Who. Again, just another one that I can't see as anything but classic. Like, it's funny, it's weird. Like, it introduced Patchy, I believe. Why am I saying I believe? I should know these things. But like, Patchy and, and Potty, and no one was really expecting that. Like, it was unusual and weird and just, like SpongeBob Christmas, but hilarious. SpongeBob's just amazing. And then at number 1, we have The Fright Before Christmas. I don't have to tell you why I love this episode, but this is incidentally one of the very few that does not feature a music number. When I say I like the music, and I've mentioned that, it's background music. It's all like, and it's some acapella stuff. It's like fa la 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 la, like that kind of thing, which isn't, is not like a full blown musical number like Merry Chris Hanukkah and a Happy Kwanzaa Ramadan, Rama Kwanzaa, like dang, nearly all of these have. I think maybe Doug is the only other one, and Let It Snow, although technically the Rugrats do sing Let It Snow. Anyway, there's my list of my absolute favorites. Give me some feedback on what you thought of this whole thing. Next year, Cartoon Network. And I also have other ideas, like doing the live-action Nickelodeon specials, or the more recent Nickelodeon specials, even. And maybe I'll even do, like, I don't know, a mini version of this for, like, Valentine's Day or April Fool's Day or something like that. And I definitely will talk about a Rugrats Hanukkah next year. I really wanted to talk about it. Like, the episode is influential in a lot of ways and deserves to be mentioned. But I didn't want to just lump it with the Christmas specials, because I feel like that's a disservice to the special and the holiday if I were to just say, well, I'm doing Christmas episodes, so here's Hanukkah. Because, really, it was like a month after Hanukkah when I got around to doing this, so I don't know. I felt like it was way too far removed, and plus I had enough on my plate. But I will definitely talk about it, and I might do some other holidays. Just, if you guys like this, give me some feedback. Let me know what you think. I really hope you enjoyed this Nickmas Pieguyrulz.